everyone, welcome to On The Record, brought to you by Woolworths, as we take a sneak peek at this week's edition of the AFL Record, Australia's #1 selling sports weekly magazine. And joining me in this special bumper Hall of Fame edition, the man who needs no introduction when it comes to footy history, my AFL media friend and colleague, Ben Collins. Benny, welcome.
Thanks, Ash. Back by popular demand, obviously.
The people have spoken, Benny. Of course, Hall of Fame, and the Australian Football Hall of Fame, and what the AFL did, it promised this year to have a bit more of an inclusive intake, I guess, and have a bit of a deeper look at some of the greats of football from other states, particularly South Australia and Western Australia, and on that front has delivered, Benny.
It certainly has, Ash. There's a lot of deserving inductees in this batch.
So the first inductee we'll look at, Benny, is Sturt's Mr Magic, Paul Bagshaw.
Yeah, that's right, Ash. He was Sturt's greatest player in their greatest era. And a funny story to tell, he learnt the checkside kick from his coach, the great Jack Oatey, and the best checkside goal he kicked was in a final at Adelaide Oval in 1973. He was on the boundary, 40 metres out. The best aspect of it was that he'd had his shorts ripped off, so he made the kick in his jockstrap, but he decided to have a crack anyway, and he split the middle.
No trousers on, back screws from an impossible angle, straight through the centre. Bagshaw, a champion.
A very popular inductee on the night was the late and great Maurice Rioli.
Maurice Rioli was a genius, but he was also a very hard and tough player, and he was ahead of his time as a tackler. Dale Waitman told me that the advice he'd give to teammates was that you've got to draw from the hips with your tackle so you don't get up too high and give away high free kicks. So that's a great tip going forward.
He was the first player from a losing team to win a Norm Smith medal. Now, another player who did some great work on grand final day was Nigel Lappin of the Brisbane Lions. He's the third member of that Brisbane Lions Fab Four to make it to the Hall of Fame, Benny. Yeah,
that's right. He was very courageous and skillful and hard-working. That 2003 grand final, when he basically put himself in the footy folklore by playing a great game with cracked ribs, and found out later on that he actually had a punctured lung as well, which is just an amazing effort.
He was a great player. The other three to get in, of course, were Ben Hart, Verdon Howell and West Australian football icon Ray Sorrell. Now, Ben, of course, you can read all those profiles in this week's edition of the AFL Record. On a slightly different tack, for Men's Health Week, you've spoken to former North Melbourne great Brett Allison.
Yeah, that's right, Ash. 12 months ago, Brett Allison went to the doc for a checkup for the first time in about 15 years, and they diagnosed him with type 2 diabetes. So he cut out sugar from his diet, and the weight just started dropping off, and he fell from 94 kilos down to 80 kilos, which is a couple of kilos lighter than his playing weight.
Turning now to match centre, Benny, and it is a big week for North Melbourne midfielder Jack Ziebell.
It certainly is, Ash. Jack Ziebell is in good nick. He's a hard nut. He loves the big occasion. He's a finals kind of player, and this is a finals kind of game. And his importance is emphasised even more with the potential outs this week in North Melbourne's midfield, and he could even take over the acting captaincy role, potentially in the absence of Andrew Swallow.
Turning now to the back half, Ben, and we're having a look at the start of the Sydney Swans backline, Heath Grundy, who plays his 200th game on Sunday afternoon against Melbourne at the SCG. He's having a fantastic season.
He is an ex-rookie, which is a magnificent achievement. One of the clouds that was over Sydney in the pre-season was how their ageing key defence would hold up. Ted Richards has had his issues with head knocks, but Grundy's been a revelation. Some people have him in the conversation for All-Australian contention. He's having a great year.
He'll be up against Melbourne's rising superstar, Jesse Hogan.
I'd probably back in the old Fox to win this duel. He's done it a few times this year before, beating big athletic types like Josh Kennedy and Josh Jenkins. Hogan is another big athletic beast as well. He's going to have his hands full.
Thanks, Benny. Also in the back half this week, we've got a story with all the details of the new National Women's AFL competition, which will be kicking off in February next year. It was launched with a massive press conference at the MCG this week, and joining me to discuss the new league is a 12-year star of the game, Lauren Arnell. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. Now, tell me a bit about your footy journey.
Well, it's been a long journey so far. It's 12 years of footy, and now we're finally on the doorstep of a National Women's League, so it's very exciting.
So you've played in these exhibition games the last few years for the Western Bulldogs. How's that been?
It's been incredible just to have the opportunity to run out in AFL club colours and step onto grounds like the Etihad Stadium and MCG. It's just been a fantastic opportunity, and now for that to be looking like a real competition and to play for something genuine is really exciting.
So what sort of position did you play? What sort of footballer are you? Who can we liken you to?
I'm a bit of an inside midfielder, so I like to win the inside ball, and I also like to go forward and kick goals. So I know you're a Hawthorn supporter. Some people say a bit of Sam Mitchell. It's a fair compliment from my end, so I'll take it.
Well, if you can play anything like Sam Mitchell, you're going to be a worthy addition. Now, of course, so you 12 years, did you ever think you'd get to a stage like today in the MCG? I'm told it's the biggest press conference held at the MCG for years, where the league was announced.
Honestly, I could never have imagined such a surreal feeling like today, to walk out onto the MCG and have such a big press contingent, but also Auskick age girls and 18-year-olds who are in club colours, just knowing that they have an opportunity to do that now.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Lauren. I suspect we're not going to be seeing you in the red, white and blue, but perhaps the navy blue and white next year, so we're going to follow your career really closely. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Ash.
Now to my tips for round 13. In the two big games for the weekend, I've got Hawthorn getting over North Melbourne by 7 points at Etihad Stadium on Friday night, and I like Geelong to win a real toss of the coin job against the Western Bulldogs back at Etihad again on Saturday night. And now let's have a look at this week's nominees for the Woolworths Mark of the Year competition.
Now the kick goes inside 50. Cameron! What a fly from Charlie Cameron.
From just his third disposal to cut the margin back to 5 points. Big fly! Griffiths marks!
Dixon caught on the kick. Cracker! From Cracker!
My vote will be going to Richmond's Ben Griffiths for that great grab deep in the Richmond forward line. Of course, you can have your say by visiting markoftheyear.afl.com.au to have your vote. So that's it for this week's edition of On The Record. We're looking, of course, at the Hall of Fame inductees as this week's cover. So don't forget, when you go to the footy, for $5, pick up your copy of the record from the kids with the green caps and the green jackets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.